What's going on, everyone? Jeremy from MTG headquarters, and we continue Fat Packs through history thanks to a couple of Fat Packs that were sent to the P.O. Box. And we will do Oath of the Gatewatch. Fortunately, pre-release is something that I have done almost every set since coming back in Return to Ravnica. So it's a fun kind of historical trip for me to do as well. I'm nervous about finding some of the older ones, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For right now, we've got all but 2 to go. So the first part of the video, I'll just open it up and remember fondly Oath of the Gatewatch. It'd be fun to look back just like our Fat Pack Through History series. So just like all pre-releases, you get a die. Later on now, with the newer sets, the deck boxes that they came with actually got a lot better, I would say. But a good twist that was suggested by you, the fans, was to then build the deck instead of just opening it. And so I think that's been a pretty interesting twist. So in this case, we have a randomized rare. So we got Oath of Jace. Back in the day, they did for a while where you kind of knew the rare that you were going to get, but that led to a lot of pre-deck building and stuff like that. So now it's random, and I think that's okay. Because it's Oath of the Gatewatch, you get 4 Oath of the Gatewatch packs and 2 of the previous block Battle for Zendikar. Now, if you're watching this video after June of 2017, you'll know that Wizards has changed, and maybe they will change back the way they do blocks. So no more 2-block sets. Or 2 set blocks. So pre-releases will always be just all of the same pack now. So, Saddleback Lagak, I remember that. Okay. Relief Captain, I remember that's a very strong card. And Sealed, Baloth Null, Durana's Chosen. Relief Captain is very spicy. Oblivion Strike, very strong. Seagate Wreckage is not necessarily the rare we want. I'm trying to remember, actually, what were the archetypes of Oath of the Gatewatch. I think I remember really liking Black Blue. Expedition Raptor. Essence Depleter is very good. Meandering River. Wall of Resurgence, and we have a Call of the Gatewatch. That's really unfortunate as a rare to get in pre-release. It's really one of those cards that's kind of only good and constructed unless we happen to open a Planeswalker that's also white or one of the other colors we're playing. We've got a lot of Saddleback Lagak, so maybe green-white seems pretty good. Stalking Drone's a fine 2-drop. Tranquil Expanse, nice. Nissa's Judgment, that's very good. And a Nissa Planeswalker. What a sick pack. I'm thinking kind of we're getting into this 4th pack, and I'm thinking, oh, green-white seems pretty good. And then we kind of hit the jackpot. We've got a very nice little green-white deck going right now. Now we've got our 2 Battle for Zendikar packs, so if we could just go ahead and open a Gideon, that would be great. Now I might actually play that card, to be honest with you, because it's basically like having 2 copies of Nissa. Gideon's Reproach, Transgress, Windrider Patrol, Jadi Offshoot, and Brutal Expulsion. I liked playing that archetype, but that pack doesn't have a ton for us. Again, just like with any pre-release, we know that it's best to crack your packs, get a general idea, as you saw. Like, I kind of just feel it out. Benthic Infiltrator is fun. Pilgrim's Eye is very good if you're playing 3-color for sure. And Emeria Shepherd. So we have another on-color bomb, so to speak. Regardless of what my first inclination is. So one of the early things that I used to do when I did pre-releases a lot. I would just kind of commit early. Obviously, it's pre-release and we have a lot of bombs in green and white. But let's go ahead and go to the color sorting phase here and see if I'm missing something, if something else jumps out. Damn, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. A lot of times your pool would like build itself. And after I did sorting, I was thinking for sure green-white, right? I talked about that right before the break. But as I opened the cards and sorted them, I don't know. It's hard to... Here's my red, okay? Not a lot going on here. If I was into some sort of red-black aggressive deck, I mean, there's some stuff here, but nothing crazy good. If we look at blue, there's actually quite a bit of it, but what is it exactly? We've got some control, some tempo, Oath of Jace for card draw. That's pretty good. Double gravity negator. That's also pretty good. Like the blue is okay. Windrider Patrol is a fine card. And then if we look at black, we've got a bit of the aggros here. Double Sky Scourer, Transgress the Mind, that's good. Tar Snare is okay removal. Double Dominator Drone and Essence Depleter, very aggressive. Kozilek Shrieker, we could play Dutiful Return to bring our creatures back. Shatter Skin, this card's actually pretty good. A single Oblivion Strike is very good. Kozilek's Translator, so now I'm starting to think like, ooh, like maybe green-black kind of aggro. If we go this, I did this pile in reverse order for some reason. Canopy Gorger, that's only like good for like kind of the random giant creature. This is Judgment, very strong removal spell with the support 2, and then the removal. Tarjuru Pathwarden, that's a fine card. Double Saddleback Lagak, and then the Nissa Voices Zendikar. Lead by Example, Swell Growth. I mean, the green is just too good not to play. So I think the green is in for sure. And then when we look at white, you like to kind of you like to have kind of a theme. You want to use your synergies. Gideon's Reproach is solid removal. But we've kind of got this aggro build. Now, search your library for a Planeswalker, reveal it. So maybe you play Call the Gatewatch. I mean, it's a second copy of Nissa. I mean, Colt, I don't know what Colt would do about it, but he's just going to come on through. Little guy. Oh, my little guy. Oof. Earthquake. Core Sky Climber. Relief Captain's very strong. Allied Reinforcement's pretty good. And then we've got some flyers to go over the top. So the question is, now, what did I see in black that kind of made me want to play it? Well, it's very aggressive. And it's very strong. I actually was thinking, like, do we play green, white, black? Are there any two-color cards that kind of make me want to get in there? Well, if we played green, white, black, we could play Baloth Null, which that's pretty nice to have recursion on 2 creatures. And do we have anything in the artifacts to make life easier? Well, we've got Hedron Crawler if we ever needed colorless mana or waste mana. Seer's Lantern to add colorless mana, ramp, or to scry on command. Pilgrim's Eye for fixing, and Warden of Geometries for more ramp. And then we've got Tranquil Expanse, so I think that definitely makes a deck, because we're going to play... I think at this point, when you're on a time limit, it's like, well, I'm playing green-white. Do I want to splash black? Let me see later. Let me see what the green-white looks like. We've got Holdout Settlement, I guess. So let's see what green-white looks like, and then we'll see if we want to splash any black. Whew, that was a struggle. I tried to limit myself to about 20 minutes, and I ended up sticking green-white. Why? Because what I had in black was really aggressive. And there is probably a black-red deck in here that is okay. Maybe if I was playing draft. But in sealed, you really need to value the late game, and you need to play a lot of bombs for the most part, okay? So this is the 23 cards I put together. Now I'm curious what your 23 are. This is going to be pretty spicy. So in the 1-drops, I'm playing a Jati Offshoot. Why am I playing Jati Offshoot? Well, to buy me time, to play my bombs, to build up life against potential aggressive decks, and to have an early blocker. Good card for all of those things. In the 2-drops, I've got double Stalking Drone. Very good card. A 2-mana 2/2 is always very playable, but with that ability to pump it with waste mana is very powerful. Then I've got a Gideon's Reproach. Again, you've got to protect yourself early game against the aggro decks. This is a mistake a lot of people make. McKinley Aeronaut, it's a 1/3 flyer. I just think it blocks well. My plan is to survive early and to get big late with support. Then in the 3-drops, I've actually got a bit of fixing, a bit of ramping, a bit of late game help. Seer's Lantern, I think, is a fine card to play, especially in sealed, because you can scry on command, but it also allows us to tap for a waste mana, which we can use for our Stalking Drones. Pilgrim's Eye to ramp potentially fix. Nissa, obviously, not a difficult thing to include. Core Sky Climber is good. It gets much better when you put some support counters on it as well. It jumps up over the top. I decided to play Call of the Gatewatch, but if I'm up against something hyper aggro or I just need more creatures, I think I could sub it out. Core Scythe Mice Master is a very aggro card. 3/1 first strike when it's attacking. And now you'll see I splash 2 cards in black. The first is Oblivion Strike. It's just non-conditional removal, and it exiles. Allied Reinforcements, you get 2 2/2s for 4. Again, these get better with what comes later. Now we have Relief Captain. So ideally you play like a 1-drop or a 2-drop into a 3-drop into a 4-drop, or maybe 2 2-drops into a 3-drop into Relief Captain, which is just an absolute blowout. Now I'm playing both copies of Saddleback Lagak. Again, you can come in with this at 4 and make some early creatures much bigger. Then we've got Nissa's Judgment. Great support 2, and then make them fight. Tarjuru Pathwarden, again, just a fine 5/4 vigilance creature, I think. And then we've got to think about how we're going to win the game late. Well, we've got to fly over the top, right? So we have things like Core Sky Climber, but we have Expedition Raptor that brings support. Then we've got double Glory Sentinel, 3/3 with Vigilance. Again, this is maybe not the best creature I could play, but it's still 3/3 flyer with Vigilance. I then also splash Baloth Null for recursion if I need to bring back Relief Captain. Again, in this deck with creatures that support, being able to bring them back seems very good, and it's not that risky of a splash. And then we have Emeria Shepherd. Another way to bring stuff back and just to win the game late. Now, how am I going to splash this black in? Well, I'm going to play Holdout Settlement, first of all, as an emergency. This is like my emergency fixer. Seagate Wreckage, I'm going to play. Why wouldn't I? When we have 0 cards in hand, I can use it to draw a card. At worst, I can use it to pump up Stalking Drone. I'm going to play 1 waste. Probably don't have to, but I will. That could hose me early. And 1 Tranquil Expanse. So the key is really just to make sure I get a green source and a white source in my opening hand, and then let the rest fall where it may. If I can never splash, I would play 1 Swamp. So what do we have? 4. So we need 17 lands. So 1 Swamp, that will be 5. And then 6 Plains, 6 Forests. I might actually take this waste out. I'd probably take this out and play 6 Plains, 7 Forests, and then these 3 fixers. That's what I'd probably do. I don't want to risk getting stuck with 3 of these in my opening hand. I've got 3 sources to pump up Stalking Drones if I need to, and they're just fine as a 2/2 for 2 as well. So that is the deck I would rock. I think it's pretty good. Is it a greedy splash? Yeah. If I'm up against something hyper aggro, maybe I would cut out the black splash and just play two tricks. Like I have, in terms of sideboard cards, things I could play. You know, I've got Mighty Leap, I've got Searing Light for early aggro. Tandem Tactics is a nice little trick. It's defensive and you gain 2 life, so that's not too bad. But I think I go green-white support. I think that's a very strong mechanic, and I think I have what it takes in the sideboard to prevent getting overrun by a hyper-aggressive deck. So what do you think of the deck I built what is the deck you would have built? That has been Oath of the Gatewatch pre-release kit through history. Right now there's 2 on the playlist. Next year, all of them will be on the playlist, just like the fat packs through history. So thanks for watching this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.